Good evening, everybody. Today I'm going to tell you a story named a very famous story, I can say, An Angel in Disguise, written by T.S. Author. This story generally portrays how beautiful it is taking care of somebody. Most of us, at most of the times, feel burdensome taking a responsibility. But in the story, the author has picturized the beauty in taking up a responsibility. Yes, it's a story of a pauper woman who had been scoundreled, who had been abused by most of them in the society for being an alcoholic. But similarly, her death brought sympathy amongst all the villages where she lived in. This woman had 3 children. John, who was 12 years old, who was capable enough of working. Katie, who was 10 years old, who was clever and intelligent. But the youngest of them, Maggie, who was a sick, bedridden child, whose spine was injured when she fell from a building. Who are there to take care of these children when their mother is no more existing? The information has passed from lip to lip. It reached everybody. All of them ran to her house to see her, to bid a farewell, and to perform the last rituals. Farmer Jones decided that he would take up the responsibility of John because John was capable enough and he can be taken into farming. Similarly, Mrs. Ellis thought that she can take up the responsibility of Katie, the 10-year-old, when she grows up. At the same time, pointing out that it is very difficult to train an undisciplined child. But nobody came forward to take care of the sick and helpless Maggie, who was lying all alone on the bed after everybody bid a quick farewell to her mother, and even her brother and sister left her. At the time, Joe Thompson, a wheelwright, that is a person who makes wooden carts, who makes wooden wheels for carts, was passing by. He just entered the hovel and saw Maggie lying, trying to push herself from the bed. And with tears in her eyes, looking into the eyes of Joe Thompson, the moment she saw him, she cried, "Oh, please don't leave me all alone here. I can't live here all alone. My mother left, my brother and sister too left. Please take care of me." She cried in pain. Joe Thompson was a soft heart person. He loved children. He used to make wooden wheels and some kind of wooden toys for them as well. He really loved children, but he was not blessed with any child. But his wife, Mrs. Thompson, was a very cruel and a hard-hearted person. He knew that he couldn't face her if he takes this child home. But still, he could not leave her all alone. And many of the neighbors said that she could be left at the poorhouse, which was called as an almshouse, where the sick and the poor and the paupers would be taken care of. But Joe Thompson lifted Maggie in his arms and carried her home, though he knew that his wife would be totally against it. And similarly, he experienced the same kind of situation, that why this brat was brought home, the sick brat was brought home. "She's of no use," shouted his wife. "You should have left her at the poor house," she shouted. But without a single word, Miss Thompson placed her on a bed in a room, came to her and told her, "I'm not a fool to directly drop her at the poor house immediately. There are certain rules and regulations that are to be taken care of. I would go tomorrow, speak to the guardians, and then definitely would drop her." Still, she did not stop, and said in a high voice that he raised his voice, looked into her eyes, and spoke. What the Bible speaks, do you know? Even if we offer a cup of water to the sick and the disabled, it never goes unrewarded. Why not take care of the child, the sick child, the helpless child for a night? Why not give her a comfortable bed or shelter for a night at her place? We are not going to lose anything. He shouted at her and left the place. Mrs. Thompson stood there quiet. Her heart, those words pricked her heart. Though she was a woman and she did not bear any children, she did not know what love is, what warmth is, what affection is, what taking care of is. But those words of her husband crept into her mind and her heart. Thompson left to work, and that night when he reached home, he could see a good omen, a light in Maggie's room, where Mrs. Thompson was sitting near her bed and they were having a conversation. He hurried home but did not say a single word, did not ask anything about Maggie. Is the dinner ready? He asked. Yes, said Mrs. Thompson. And even during the dinner, he did not say a word. After their dinner, Mrs. Thompson took some bread and milk for Maggie. There was a smile of gratitude on Maggie's face. Mrs. Thompson's heart melted. Love started blooming in her heart. And the next day, she asked her husband, when are you going to drop her at the poorhouse? He said, maybe tomorrow, for sure. And she said, I can have her even for a day or two at my place. Mr. Thompson did not say anything, and it continued. It continued for days and days. Never did he go to the poorhouse. And never did Mrs. Thompson raise her voice against the little Maggie. And from that day onwards, Mr. Thompson, that was Joe Thompson, and his wife felt that there was nobody in the entire town who had the wine of happiness, the wine of beauty, the wine of satisfaction as much as they had. They always felt an angel had entered their home in disguise as a sick, helpless, and a miserable child. And that angel had brought in the sunshine of love in their dreary, sad, sorrowful, hard lives, and totally turned out their lives to be a bliss, a satisfaction. So that is the story of An Angel in Disguise, written by T.S. Arthur, conveying the beauty of taking care of the sick, the miserable, the helpless, lending them a hand and helping them in time. Thank you so much, Mayaakatha, for giving me this opportunities, and Meera Bharat for this wonderful opportunity, and for spreading a hope of love and happiness all around. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.